Hey everyone, Scott Hansen here from NFL Red Zone, and you're watching the Super Fantasy Bros podcast. 1 hour of commercial-free podcasting starts now. Enjoy the show.
Let's go, Shawners.
All right, welcome back to the Super Fantasy Bros podcast. Gang is all here except Q. Of course, we've been missing him a couple times, but he will be back because we do have a doubleheader this week. So today we will be doing our running back rankings, and tomorrow we'll be doing wide receivers and tight ends. So we'll have Q tomorrow, but today it'll just be us three breaking down our running back ranks for the 2024 season. So let's get into these running backs. So we're just going to start with our strategy for running backs this season, go through our differences in rankings there, and then go through some running backs we're targeting at different points in the drafts, who we're avoiding, and then finish up with some running back fantasy trivia. So let's get right into discussing our draft strategy. As it currently stands, running backs are seemingly starting to creep higher and higher into ADP. There are now 6 running backs in the top 12, including Jahmyr Gibbs, who did just hurt his hamstring. We're hoping he's okay and good to go for the start of the season. But yes, 6 now in the top 12. Are you planning on taking a running back in the first round?
I hate telling you guys these
Feels
things.
right. I mean, if it all depends who's still on the board. I mean, it's hard to say until you're in that situation, but I wouldn't mind taking a running back in the first round, but I'd say chances are I'm going to wait until the later rounds.
I'm 99% likely waiting on a running back. Possibly
Agreed.
the first 3 rounds.
Holy shit.
Bro, there's too many. There's too many to pick from.
There's
Yeah.
a lot.
I do feel like running back's a little bit deeper this year. I feel like there's some interesting backfields where you can kind of find value late too. So I'm not necessarily targeting a running back early. There's definitely guys I like that if they fall to me in a certain way, definitely grab them. Like Brees Hall after pick 5 automatically becomes like interesting to me.
Yeah.
Bijan also probably around that same area, maybe a little bit later for me. I know a lot of people might have that flipped, but that's kind of where I start thinking about it. And then towards the end of the round, definitely Saquon becomes on my radar as well as JT because you can flip right back to another elite wide receiver. But I agree. I'm definitely leaning towards wide receiver first round though. Like if I can grab an elite wide receiver, I'm taking one for sure.
Agreed.
If you pass on a running back in the first round, are you making sure you get one in the second round? Sounds like T Gods is not. Or are you okay waiting till later taking that running back? Because 11 of the top 24 are currently running back. So if you're waiting till round 3, you're most likely getting a running back outside the top 12 consensus.
Fine with
Yeah.
me.
So
I'm
fine
cool with
with
that.
me.
If I get 2 elite receivers or someone's there that I like and I can just scoop them up in the second, get it out the way, I am completely okay with doing that. Like you guys were saying, running back is kind of deep this year. I feel like there's a lot of guys, even in backup roles, who could get a lot of volume and do your due diligence in your lineup. So, yeah, I'm completely fine with waiting past round 2 if I don't get one in the first round.
Yeah, I completely agree there again. Like it just wide receiver feels so much more important this year, more than ever, really. So definitely okay grabbing back to back, even back to back to back wide receivers. I like most of the mock drafts I've done when I've went more wide receiver heavy. My teams have felt better than without that. So
Yeah.
All right, that's pretty much it for our early draft strategy. So let's move into some of our discrepancies. We all agree here. We will also be taking a look at Q's ranks too. So we'll just have those included here. So we'll have all 4 of us, but we all agree with our top 3 being McCaffrey, Brees Hall, and Bijan in some fashion. T Gods does have Bijan ahead of Brees. The rest of us go McCaffrey, Brees, Bijan. So nothing really too much to discuss there. So let's move on to the first kind of discrepancy. Kyron Williams, currently going RB7, 15th overall. T Gods, you have him all the way up at 4, and Q right above that at 6, and I have him at 7. I guess T Gods, you can start why you love Kyron so much.
Well, I mean, bias intended, I guess, here. I had him last year, and he was amazing. He carried my whole team. He finished RB6 in PPR, which is great. 12 touchdowns, crazy. 1,144 yards, 32 receptions he can catch. It wasn't the greatest, but I think he can definitely get it up from 32. No diddy. And 3 receiving touchdowns. So yeah, I don't know. Numbers are there. Team's there. He's just, I don't know. I like him. He's good at football.
Can't hate on it. He was like the most used running back last year too, I think.
Out of
Yeah,
nowhere. Came out of nowhere, dude.
literally out of nowhere.
Literally.
Sometimes it happens, man. And Matt Stafford obviously helps as well in terms of like just being able to dump that ball off to him, get him a bunch of catches. So definitely like Kyron, as long as he's on the field, he should definitely be up there. I have him at ADP, so maybe I hate him a little bit, but I think I'm right there with consensus.
Yep.
This one I'm not with consensus. Devon Achane. Currently going RB 11, 24th overall. I have him all the way up at 6. Q is right on target there at 11, and then Matt at 15. T Gods, you're all the way down at 16. So I guess I'll start off here since I'm super high. I'm just a true believer in the talent here. Obviously, we saw a lot of flashes with it last year. I have a lot of love for HN, obviously bias. I did have him in a league as well. So when you were able to start him and you were able to get those 20 plus point performances, it was huge. I do think Mostert getting older, also coming off of back-to-back seasons with heavy volume, isn't something that's really going to hold up for a 32-year-old running back. I think they want to kind of ease that workload back a little bit at least. And I think Achan's going to get most of it. I know there's also a rookie in the mix, but that Dolphins offense is still going to be elite. Defenses are going to be worried about covering Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. I think the middle of the field's going to be wide open for HN to feast week after week.
Okay.
Yeah. Can't hate on it, but I don't know. There is a lot of heads in that Miami backfield.
A
That
whole
just
ton.
scares me away. I feel like when's the last time you remember a Dolphins running back just consistently back to back years being the number one?
Not consistently, but I do still like the way this offense is made for running backs. Obviously, last year they had HN only played 11 games, still finished RB 24, and Mostert was top 5-ish. So I think it's
Stand
gonna
on upside, baby.
I think it's gonna flip towards HN this year if it's changing every year. That would be my guess, my hope there. But yeah, in general, I mean, I also like Mostert. I do think he's still probably gonna get 10 to 12 touches, 15 touches a game, still gonna get touchdowns and whatnot. But I think HN, if he's getting 15 to 20 and able to stay on the field, he's gonna be a beast.
Dude, 15 to 20. He got 15 carries twice last year.
Yeah, but he gets a lot of receptions as well out of the backfield. So.
I mean,
Well, twice in 11
games, he played
games, and
50% or
I
more snaps. 4
regardless,
games.
I think 6 is steep, Sean. You're pushing it.
8 games he played 40% more snaps, and in 5 of those 8 games he had 23 fantasy points or more. So I'll take my chances on 40% of the snaps, more than half of those games getting 20 plus points.
I
You
just think
stretch that out, he's going to be nice.
he had crazy fluke games, man.
I think it's crazy talent, a lot of open opportunities in that offense.
He had a lot of big plays last year. I feel like once every Sunday on Red Zone, I was seeing Achane going like 60 yards.
It's going to continue, baby. I'm all in. But
I'm all
definitely
out.
understand there's risk. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of flippy floppiness there. I'll gladly wait and take him later at his current ADP at 11. All right, moving on to Isaiah Pacheco, currently going RB 10, 20th overall. Matt and Q have him at the highest at 9. T-Gods, you have him right after that at 11. I have him down at 14. So Matt, I guess you could start to off why do you like Pacheco this season?
I've always loved Pacheco. I just think, I don't know, the Chiefs, they did make some moves, bringing in some pass catching ability, but they're behind Isaiah Pacheco. There is nobody who is going to challenge him for touches. Clyde Edwards-Helaire has been irrelevant for years. They have somebody by the name of Carson Steele, if anybody knows who that is. And
Nope.
then Deneric Prince, I think, is probably going to be his true backup, who is also a rookie this year, I believe. So I just think the volume's going to be there for Pacheco. Obviously, the Chiefs are always a threat to score, so if they get down in the red zone, there's a good chance for touchdown upside for him because he's going to be basically their every down back, just about. So I just think there's so much opportunity for Pacheco to even improve on his improved year last year, this year.
Yeah.
He's rock solid.
He is.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely hear where you're coming from there. I'm still high on Pacheco. I do definitely think he has that top 12 upside. For me, he definitely improved as a pass catcher last year, but still wasn't doing a lot with it. He did have 44 catches, but only for like 200 yards. So it was a lot of just like Mahomes panicking dump offs to see him use those a little bit more, I guess. Other than that, I really don't have anything much to say as to why I'm lower. I just think like the Chiefs are just going to throw the ball a ton as they continue to do. They don't really prioritize using the running backs, and Andy Reid's never afraid to just throw random running backs in there and see what the hell happens. So I wouldn't be shocked if any of those random guys end up getting 10, 15 touches a game randomly. And you're like, why the hell is Pacheco on the bench?
Please don't.
Andy Reid is very comfortable just switching them in and out. So we'll see. But I agree, Pacheco should definitely have a good season upcoming in general. Derrick Henry next, currently going RB9, 18th overall. Matt, you got him at 8. He got also at 8. I got him at 10. Q's the hater here at 13. Anyone want to? I guess I'll pretend to be Q here because I'm the lowest per se. I really don't know why you could hate D-Hen this year. I mean, he doesn't really hate him. He's still got him at 13, but I still think the top 10 upside's there. But I guess you could say he's getting older. Lamar's going to take away some of that volume in terms of like just goal line carries and carries in general. He's also probably not going to catch many passes as he never does, especially in this offense where Lamar's not really the dump off focused quarterback. So
never heard him before though.
That's what I'm saying. So why do you guys like D-Hen this year, I guess?
Touchdowns.
6 straight years of 10+ rushing touchdowns. Can't really get much better than that. And obviously the Ravens are a run first team, and I think even near the goal line, how many goal line carries is Lamar truly going to steal from Derrick Henry? I think the Ravens are probably going to play it more safe with Lamar, trying to have him run less while having Derrick Henry, try and use that to the best of their ability. So yeah, touchdown upside, just run first offense, Derrick Henry. It's all right there, plain and simple.
Oh yeah, who's gonna take carries from Justice Hill?
Hell no.
Come on, get real.
Yeah, no shot. Definitely agree. Derrick Henry's going to be locked in there. Like he's going to be a beast. Easily should be at the back end of your top 10 in your rankings this season. Rachaad White up next, currently going RB13, 34th overall. I have him at 9. Q has him at 10. Matt has him at 10. T-Gods, you have him down at 12. So we're all above ADP.
We all love Rachaad.
Yeah, I guess I could touch on why I love Rachaad the most. I just think in this offense we saw last year, I think he finished like RB5 or something, 4. Yeah. I think the pass catching upside is still going to be there. I think Baker loves to dump the ball off, especially when he gets himself in trouble trying to extend plays and whatnot. So Rachaad White should be due for a nice 40, 50, 60 reception season, as well as being able to punch in those short goal line opportunities when they're not able to just throw it up to Mike Evans. So not much competition. I think he's going to be just fine there.
Yeah.
And he only had 6 touchdowns on the ground last year. I could easily see
that was bogus, dude.
And bumped up.
They need to use him more down there.
Yeah, finishing RB4. I feel there were so many times where the Bucs were down inside the 5, and he just was not getting the ball for whatever reason.
Wasn't getting the ball.
So yeah. I see them switching that up. He could easily have a 10+ touchdown year if they just give it to him while they're down there.
Oh yeah,
100%. And he also really didn't start off the season like super hot either. Like he didn't really turn it on until like week 7. Prior to weeks 1 through 6, played 5 games. He had 1 game higher than 10.8 points. So then the rest were like 6, 7. Once they kind of started getting him more involved, he started thriving. So definitely see a big season upcoming for Rachaad White. Next one, Joe Mixon, currently going RB16. Knew this one was coming. 41st overall. I got him at 12. Q has him at 15. So Q actually higher than ADP on Mixon. Everybody take note of that. T-Gods and Matt, you guys are just below ADP at 17. So I guess I'll start this one off again. I don't have to explain this one too much. Mixon's been top 10 the last few years. He's going to the Texans. Yes, they're going to pass a lot, but the Bengals also passed a lot. Mixon was able to get his. He's going to be their goal line back. Give me Mixon all day.
What about Cam Akers?
Cam Akers.
Come
Cam
on.
Akers, bro. He was looking good
Come
in the
on.
preseason.
Cam Akers is the worst running back in the league, and he has been for the last 5 years. I hate that man.
Man.
I can't believe he still gets jobs.
No hate to Joe Mixon. It's just like I think the Texans are just gonna want to air the ball out whenever they get the chance to. I mean, they have 3 great receivers, and I mean Mixon's gonna be there when they need him. But
Who needs him? Who
I don't
really
know,
needs Joe
and he's
Mixon?
getting
Come on.
older.
Who
He's
really needs Joe
28.
Mixon here?
He's hitting that decline in his career, so
He's still fine. I'm taking Mixon all day.
still top 20, but 17 is where he will end.
I guess we shall see. Moving on to DeAndre Swift, currently going RB21, 64th overall. I got him at 20, so just above Matt, 22, T-Gods 23, Q24. T-Gods, I guess you could start a little bit why you don't like Swift just as much. Not too far behind ADP there, though.
Well, I think I'm just a little asleep. I'm not gonna lie about it. I'm just a Bears hater, and I really don't have a reason why. I'm just so used to the Bears being so bad, and you guys know I never really liked Swift. I never did, and then he came to the Birds, and I had to like him. That was okay. I don't know. I just think he's average at best. I don't know. He's just a mid running back on a mid team.
And how good is that Bears O line going to be to create space for him?
You tell me.
I mean, I think with a rookie quarterback, he definitely has upside in the pass catching department because he's always been great pass catching back. But I don't see his rushing upside being there. You're really just going to be banking on Caleb Williams dumping him the ball off like 5-6 times a game.
Yeah. I think the rushing is still, like, obviously last year we saw his peak with rushing. He got 1,000 yards for the first time in his career, had the most attempts. He's usually in more of a timeshare. But then we also saw the reverse where, like, Jalen Hurts is not the guy to kind of pass to the running back. So that kind of took a plummet. I think we kind of get back more towards the Swift with the Lions where you'll see him more involved in the passing game when Caleb Williams ends up in trouble. He's not one that runs it as much as a guy like Jalen Hurts, so he should be dumping it off the Swift more. That's what I like to see. But I agree. I have him at 20. I still think he's going to be like a low-end RB2 with like mid RB2 upside. I don't think he's going to go too much higher than like RB15 this year because they also do have a couple other guys that are probably going to be mixed in with Herbert and Roshan Johnson. So,
Roshan, baby.
I think Swift should be good. I don't think he will be great. So I'm the highest, but he still should be just like ADP. Where his ADP's at is pretty solid. That's where I'm taking him. Najee Harris, another decent-sized gap here. Currently going RB25, 76 overall. Matt's in love at 21.
Not in love. I was just looking at my ranks. I was like, who the hell could I move ahead of him? Because he should not be that high.
I got him at 24. Q's got him at 26. D-God's down at 27.
He's a bum.
Matt, are you moving him down?
Yeah. I got to figure out where to, though.
He's a more mid running back on a
I
more
would
mid team.
take Swift, James Conner, Zamir White.
It's kind of tough. Like, he was RB23 last year. He's 1,000 yards in each of the last 3 seasons. Like, it's ugly. His pass catching is definitely continuing to go down, and it will continue with Warren in the backfield, but
All right.
still think he's going to be
moved
around
him-
that.
I moved them to 23.
Okay. You're still the highest.
Like,
Still the
sure,
highest.
the numbers aren't the worst, but like I had him last year, and like yeah, he ended up like at the end of the season being like okay, but having him like it didn't feel like you had an RB2. Like it just felt
Oh,
like
not at all.
you were consistently looking for someone else to put in, but you just couldn't
Yeah.
find anyone else. You just had to start him, and it sucked every single week.
Honestly, it only went up because of the end of the season, too. Like, once, I think it was week 17 and 18, he had back-to-back 24-point games, which obviously pushed him way up, pushed his numbers up, blah, 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 whatever. Warren is definitely in the mix there, and especially if Justin Fields gets in the mix, I don't think that's going to help in terms of pass-catching volume there at all, so...
I can have Najee ranked wherever on my rankings. Point blank, I am not drafting him in any league.
There's
Yeah.
some times
Like, I'm not even looking at him.
No, I literally leave some people out of my ranks just because I have no interest in them, and he's gonna be one of them. I'm
He's
not
going to be
put
one
him
of
on
them.
my
But
ranks.
Warren will for sure be on my ranks.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey,
I like
the
it.
whole team can stay over there.
What if they get Ayuk?
That's a little
I
juicy.
saw talks that they were.
I'll take George Pickens. I'll take Pickens.
If they get Ayuk, I don't know though. I'll still
I
take
know.
Pickens, but way lower.
Yeah.
For real.
I like Pickens right now though. But yeah, sticking to the running backs here. Jonathan Brooks is up next. He's currently going RB28. So I actually have him right there at 28. Q has him at 33. T-Gods, I think you're even lower there at 41. And
Okay, gotta
I have him
adjust.
at
I gotta
33.
adjust then.
Matt's at 33. Yeah. Didn't get to write those ones down.
The Panthers
Oh,
just, bro, they just, God, they're so bad.
Maria, you were definitely in the
Chuba's nice.
I
Dude,
think
don't
there's
sleep
a
on Chuba.
home invader in your bedroom.
Me?
No, Maria just went to
Oh.
the bathroom. She tried to crawl under the camera. Did not make it through.
I was like, what the fuck?
Go ahead, T-Gods. What were you saying?
Oh, the Panthers.
You're just sleep
they-
on them?
I guess I'm.
Or you just hate
but
them?
Is anybody really sleep on them? Like they're trash, and
You're there.
I'm not sleeping on Chuba. I'm not sleeping on Chuba. Chuba's mid.
Chuba is so mid. I'm nowhere near sleeping on Chuba. I want to buy back in on Sanders just because of his quote to the media.
I want him to be good so bad.
He's just not.
He's gotta be.
I've been trying to
Apparently-
tell you
Fired
guys for
up.
like 6 years he's trash.
He's fired up.
He's fired up. He was yelling at the media. Yeah, I also saw that him and Dalvin Cook are among possible Cowboys targets as well for a trade. I highly doubt that goes through, but yeah, this backfield's ugly, but I do think Jonathan Brooks, there's always a rookie that ends up being pretty good. I think he's still the favorite. That's why I have him right near where he's being at ADP. Obviously, the injury still scares you a little bit. You kind of want to see before you can, and he's not going to get much preseason run here, so that stinks, but
They
I
said
like
he
Jonathan Brooks.
might not even be ready until like week 3 or 4.
Ooh, yeah, then I'd push him back down to closer to where T-Gods had him from the rip.
From the rip.
I was honestly.
If he's ready week 1, I'm taking him high. If not, you're basically taking a flyer on him at like 35, and you're hoping that like Sanders and Chuba aren't off to a hot start because he could lose that pretty quick.
But how many games do you think the Panthers are actually going to be competing in to where they'll have the luxury to actually run the ball?
1,
Mm,
maybe 2.
a few, maybe a few.
Maybe. We'll see.
4 max.
At the Saints week 1, Saints kind of stink, but they'll probably be losing.
Nah, Saints are good.
At
gonna be
Washington, at Denver versus Bo Nix,
Washington could surprise
the
a lot of
Giants, Arizona maybe. I don't know. Yeah, you're right. They're not going to be up in many games, unless
people.
Bryce
Seems
Young
like they
takes a
have
major
pretty
step forward.
Favorable schedule though.
Of course, yeah, they're last place schedule, so they get all the last place teams across the board.
Lucky.
Shouldn't be too bad, but we'll see. I still like him. Still taking a flyer on him for sure. Even if it is a little bit later than his current ADP. Last one, Austin Eckler. Currently going RB 29, 85th overall. I have Eckler at 32 personally. Q has him
down.
at 27, so Q's higher than ADP. T-Gods, where do you have Eckler at? Also low with me. 29, right on ADP.
I moved him to 31.
And that just threw him down his rankings from 25 to 31.
Good. Bro, his
Because,
career's
bro, I'm
over,
like-
man.
Yeah, I should have reviewed these.
He's dead in the water.
Yeah,
But yeah,
definitely
he's
need
first.
a little bit of a change as well. You can stand up. It's fine. What was I saying? Austin Eckler?
Yeah.
He's washed.
Yeah,
He's washed.
he's
I'm out on Eckler. I think
Last
Brian
year was
Robinson's.
such a turn off.
I don't understand, bro. He went from RB2 to RB1 to RB28, and now he's just forgotten.
Yeah, now he sucks.
Now he's just, like, what happened, dude?
He just got old, man. Age catches up to you guys, especially guys like that. Like if he loses a step, he's not going to be beating anybody off the block or like out in the out routes. And obviously, we saw last year some of those like breakaway runs. He was just looked like he was moving in slow motion. Some major injuries piling up. Yeah, no.
That's true.
Brian Robinson, I think, is going to get the better of the goal line work here. Eckler will probably still be involved in the passing game somewhat, but I think he's just going to be like the Antonio Gibson of the Commanders with a rookie quarterback. So avoiding, I think we're all pretty much at ADP or lower and not really favoring Eckler this season.
Nope. Another guy that I will not even look at.
Nope. All right, moving on to our favorite targets here. So we're going to do our favorite RB2 flex late round, and then one running back we're avoiding drafting. So I guess we could take turns reading for Q, but I'll start. Actually, I'll just run through Q's first, just so everybody is aware.
Get him out the way.
Let's kick you out the way. RB2, his target's Jaylen Warren. Makes sense. We all just talked about it. We don't really love Najee that much. Q's a big Jaylen Warren guy, so of course he's probably targeting him as his RB2. Flex Raheem Mostert. Makes sense again. He's going pretty late after being top 5 and scoring a lot of touchdowns. I may not love him as much, but I do still think he's going to get his, so he should be fine. His late round / cuff target, Zach Moss. Maybe not too late, but Zach Moss definitely someone to throw on your bench as your RB4. It's a great have. He could definitely put up some numbers with Cincy. And Q is avoiding DeAndre Swift, even though I think he was one of the higher ones we just talked about. No, he was the lowest at 24. So, yeah. Avoiding DeAndre Swift. He probably is on like some Roshan Johnson like hype train or something. So
I wouldn't doubt it. That's like a cute type bull.
100%. So he's definitely all in on Roshan. He also likes Khalil Herbert, I remember. So that's probably why he does not love Swift so much. All right. So let's go around the horn. T-God starts off. Who's your RB2 target?
My RB2 target is Alvin Kamara. Through his 7-year career, he only finished outside of the top 14 once. And that's with missing games every single year. At least one game he missed. And yeah, like he's locked in for like 70 plus receptions like every single year pretty much. And like there's just no one really on the team like competing with them. Like maybe Jamal Williams will take a couple touchdowns, but that's fine with me. Like
he's so washed.
He's so what? Yeah, but come on. I'm a big fan. But no, I don't know. It's just the receptions. Like it's so important in PPR, and not a lot of running backs can do what he can do. And yeah, I don't know. Alvin Kamara.
Yeah, I think he's a great RB2 target.
I can't believe he's going that late. Like,
yeah, I got him at 13, so I'm all in on taking Kamara almost as an RB1 still. The PPR upside is sky high. All right, Matt, who is your RB2 target?
RB2 target, love this guy, Ramondre Stevenson. Obviously had a down year last year, missed a few games, was just not being used as he should have been considering the year he had before when he finished RB7. Kind of fell off in the passing game a little bit, probably is to do with missing the games, but I see him getting more involved, especially with the Patriots most likely starting Drake May to begin the season, and just never had more than 5 touchdowns in his career. I see that bumping up because his real only true threat for touches is Antonio Gibson, who has been irrelevant for the past few years. So I just like Ramondre. I think the Patriots are going to realize they need to use him a lot more, considering when he wasn't getting the ball last year, they sucked. And when he was getting the ball the year before, they were a little bit better. So if they want any chance of competing, he should be seeing at least 20 touches a game.
Yeah, I like that as well.
Yes.
My RB2 target, someone we already talked about, Joe Mixon. Don't need to go too much in here. Since 2018, 5 out of those 6 seasons, he's had at least 8 touchdowns, and 4 out of those 6 seasons, he had 1,000 yards, and one of those seasons, he missed 10 games. So pretty much every year, he's 1,000 yards and 8 touchdowns. I know it's a new team, but it's a similar style offense, so they have all the passing weapons. Should leave plenty of room for Mixon to run in the open field. Dameon Pierce stinks. We saw that last year. Cam Akers stinks. We've seen that his whole career. So it's Mixon's backfield on a good offense. I'm going to keep riding Mixon until the wheels fall off. So maybe they fall off this year, but I'm taking him. Ride or die.
Do it.
Yeah.
T-God's back to you. Who is your flex target at running back?
My flex target is Tony Pollard. I am maybe possibly reconsidering this. The Texans have the 30th ranked offensive line, but it's okay. It's alright. It's alright. The last 2 years, Pollard has went over 1,000 rushing yards, that is great to look at. Um, and I mean they just had Derrick Henry for the past like 6-7 years, so like they they know how to use a running back, and I just feel like this could be Tony Pollard's like redemption year because last year he was supposed to be like a top 5 running back, and he absolutely shit the bed. So why not get a fresh start here? And he can catch the ball. He had 55 receptions last year. That's pretty good. I enjoy that. I That number could definitely go up with these like poo poo quarterbacks that they got. Will Levis and Mason Rudolph. I mean, they could dump it off to him. They couldn't do that with Dehen, so Tony Pollard.
Yeah,
I
no,
respect it for sure. Matt, flex, who you got there?
flex, I'm gonna go Zamir White. Kind of got a small sample size towards the end of last year, but I mean, I liked what I saw last 4 games where he was like the true starter. In all but one of the games, he had 20 plus rushing attempts. Had no less than 13 points. So I mean, if he can keep that up going into this season, I don't see much competition for touches on that team behind him. They have Alexander Madison, who not good, and a
Horrible.
bunch of yeah. Next best is Amir Abdullah, who hasn't ever been relevant.
Don't sleep
So
on Dylan Law.
I'll stay sleep on Dylan Law. But I think Zamir White's going to be the clear RB1. As long as the Raiders can stay competitive in games, he'll be able to get a lot of touches. We saw that at the end of last season, like I said. So, I mean, I liked what I saw in the little bit that we could see last year, so I'll take my chances.
Yeah, I like him in that range as well. My flex, Nick Chubb, his ADP is slowly creeping into almost a void range just because we still don't have like a clear status on when he's coming back. Right now, his ADP is RB 31, I think, 87th overall. So right in that like Jonathan Brooks, Austin Eckler range. So like right now, perfectly happy just taking a flyer there on Nick Chubb. At this point, like if Nick Chubb's able to come back even like week 6, he'll still be a difference maker for you. And if he's your third, fourth, fifth running back on your bench, make sure you just have a couple of the backups so you're all right. But Nick Chubb at that point is well worth the investment. I'm taking a risk there for sure. Like we've seen what Nick Chubb can do when he's on the field. Even if he's limited, he'll still get the goal line carries. The Browns are still going to be trying to compete this year. So give me Nick Chubb at that ADP all day. T-God's late round pick. Who you got?
I know you don't like him, but I'm taking Ezekiel Elliott late. For one, I
Zeke.
mean, it's got to be his redemption story, right? Like he's got to come back and just cook. And the Cowboys were if I'm not mistaken, like a top 3 scoring offense last year. So I will definitely take the RB1 on that team. His only true competition really is Rico Dowdle, and I mean, like, come on. I don't know. I think Zeke's still got something left in the tank. I think he's got something to prove. Uh, I don't. I don't know. I don't know. I'm in on
Like it.
Zeke. Maybe I'm just biased. Maybe I just love the Cowboys. I
You
love the
do.
Cowboys so much.
He does. He does.
They have so many lit players, man. Come on.
No, I know. I definitely don't hate Zeke late. I don't hate Dowdle either. I think it could be either of them, but Zeke definitely has the opportunity to fall face first into the end zone 10 times this year. So would not hate having him on as a bench running back. Matt, who was your late target?
Late target, talked about him earlier, Jonathan Brooks. Just as long as he's able to start the season healthy, I think he'll be given the opportunity to earn that RB1 role. I mean, Chuba, like we said, mid at best. Miles Sanders hasn't been the same since he left Philly, and even then he was kind of a little bit mid, even though I love him.
Sadly, yes.
But yeah, if Jonathan Brooks can solidify at least like a little bit of a role in that backfield, I feel like as the season moves forward, he's just going to take more and more of it. So I'll late round flyer, take my chances on a rookie running back on a bad team who desperately needs some offensive spark.
Yeah. Agree there. Definitely love the Brooks flyer, and his ADP will probably fall as more people start to see that he may not be ready for the season opener. So definitely grabbing him there as well. My late round targets, Chase Brown. Not all the way sold on Zach Moss being very, very good. We saw him last year obviously have a really solid role with the Colts. Colts have a pretty good O-line. And they obviously didn't have much else going on aside from Pittman. Minshew's obviously not going to be able to move the ball down the field super consistently. So Zach Moss had a ton of opportunity there. I think the Bengals really like Chase Brown. We saw him even cutting into Mixon's work last year. And I think he's a really good pass catcher. So with Burrow coming off of another injury-riddled season, I'm sure he'll want to stay in the pocket a bit more. And when he gets in under pressure, Chase Brown's going to be the guy who's going to be looking to dump those passes off too. So I like Chase Brown. I like his upside. I think he can have a pretty decent like pass catching role, maybe like the Gio Bernard, and if not more, if Zach Moss struggles at all, because I don't think Zach Moss is going to have some super long leash. Chase Brown should be able to take over pretty quickly if Zach Moss struggles at all.
I was gonna make Chase Brown my late round target, so
Yeah. I mean, Zach Moss was awesome last year. I still think he's definitely worth taking where he's going. He's not going super early, but Chase Brown, even later, feels way juicier to me. All right. T-Gots, back to you. Who are you avoiding?
I am avoiding J.K. Dobbins. So his rookie year, he played 15 games. 2021, he played 0. 2022, he played 8. Last year, he played 1 game. He had 8 carries last year. Even if he does magically stay healthy this year, he's still on probably, arguably, the worst offense in the league. And he's
Spicy.
competing with Gus Edwards. So, I mean, like, the likelihood that J.K. Dobbins is useful for fantasy at all this year is, like, highly unlikely, in my opinion. And on top of that, I think he's super mid. I think he's always been piped first. I don't know why.
I liked him a lot at Ohio State. So, like, if you go back and watch his college highlights, he looked like he was ready to be, like, the next, like,
So did Tavon Austin. I
love Tavon Austin when I drafted him. Even though
and how'd that turn out for you?
They did turn out great. I'm not saying you're wrong at all. I'm just saying that's why people are still holding on for hope. I definitely agree. He's a good one to avoid. Nothing more than a late round dart throw, and you're praying that he gets somehow a full health season coming out.
Yeah.
Matt, who are you avoiding?
I am avoiding James Conner. Coming off of one of his better years, finished with his highest yard per carry tally at 5 even, but I just think whole career has been injury riddled. I don't really see that changing. History tends to repeat itself. And they have a rookie, Trey Benson, that I also really like. So if Connor goes down, or even if the Cardinals just kind of want to lighten his workload throughout the season, I could see Trey Benson playing a big part in that Cardinals backfield. So I just don't see the touchdown upside that was once there with James Conner really there anymore. And his volume also might decrease. So I'm just kind of trying to avoid all that. It sounds like a recipe for disaster.
Yeah.
I agree, sadly. I don't want
Rookie breathing down his neck.
Yeah.
My avoid is Austin Eckler. We touched on him earlier, but just to reinforce it, as someone who took him in the first round last year, please fade Austin Eckler heavy. His yards per carry dropped from like around 4, even in his early career 5, to 3.5 last year. He clearly lost a step. He did have 50 catches still last year. I think that goes down even further this year because he's now playing with a rookie quarterback who, when he's going to get in trouble, his first instinct is going to be to scramble. Brian Robinson's going to take half the share here, which he's used to, but in general, I just think Eckler's definitely taking a step back. He's pushing 30 at this point. Feels like he's lost a step. Maybe he has something left in the tank. I don't think it's going to be a lot. I don't think he'll be worth the investment on draft day, especially where he's going. I would take a late round flyer at best on him.
Yeah.
All right, before we do some trivia, let's do some quick bold takes. I'll read cues out. James Cook finishes top 10. Maybe
Oh, baby.
not that bold. I think maybe the last time he also may have pushed it to like top 8 or something.
Probably.
He loves himself some James Cook, and I do think James Cook should have a pretty solid season with Josh Allen, and then obviously not as many pass catchers, so James Cook should have a lot more involvement if you're looking at it that way. All right, Matt, what do we got?
I'm sticking with my first bold take that I had on our first RB rank episode. That not so bold, but Jalen Warren overtakes that RB1 role in Pittsburgh over Najee Harris. I think he might have finished one spot ahead of him last year, or one spot behind him, so he was already right on his tail. But it seems like anytime Jalen Warren gets the ball, he's much more efficient, bigger play threat than Najee Harris is. So I just see the Steelers realizing that and using him to his full potential and giving him, if not half the workload, more than half of it.
Yeah, definitely agree. Jalen Warren is rock solid.
Yep.
T-Gods, what do we got?
Kyron Williams is going to finish as the number 1 RB in the league. Yeah, so I talked about it earlier a little bit. He finished 6th last year. He had 1,144 yards, 12 touchdowns, 32 receptions, and 200 receiving yards, and 3 receiving touchdowns. So yeah, that over 1,100 yards was in 12 games. So I mean, imagine that with 5 more games. That's I can't do quick math like that, but that's at least like 1,500 yards right there. His receptions probably closer to 50, maybe like 5 receiving touchdowns. I don't know, man. He's on a good team. He's a very good running back, and we seen what he could do last year. We just seen a little bit of it.
Yeah,
This much of it.
Kyron could munch if he's on the field. Definitely
Was that
could
supposed to
finish
mean?
number 1. If he's on the field, he got a little banged up last year.
He did get a little banged up. I'm
Just
so
a little bit.
defensive. I don't know why I'm so defensive. He's a good
It's
man.
your guy.
He's a good man.
All right, my bold take we already touched on. I'll just go all the way through it again. Devon Achane, top 5 this season. I'm going all in. Dolphins' offense was electric last year. Not much has changed. Mostert's 32, coming off 450 combined touches over 31 games the last 2 seasons, and that's not including playoffs. Prior to those 2 past seasons, he had never handled more than 150 touches in a season and was injured all the time. Achane's younger, and as long as he is healthy, should see the bulk of the work. Mostert probably going to continue to push back a little bit. They probably want to just try to keep him upright throughout the season. Now, going on a 3rd season of heavy work in a row would be a lot for a 32-year-old running back. In 8 games last year, as I mentioned earlier, Achane played 40% more of the snaps. In 5 of those games, 23-plus fantasy points. He was electric, big play waiting to happen. And obviously, defenses are focused on Tyreek, Waddle, plenty of room for Achane to shine. Give me all the shares of Achane. I'll take them all day in round 2. Top 5 potential is there. I'll lock it in.
He's all yours, brother.
I will gladly
He's all
accept.
yours.
Gladly accept. That's a wrap for the running back rankings portion of this episode. So if you are here with us, definitely throw us a follow, subscribe if you want to help support us. Post of all of these episodes on YouTube. And we're also on Spotify, Apple, wherever you get your podcasts. Like, rate, review, 5 stars. And of course, we're on all social medias: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikToks. Just search Super Fantasy Bros and you'll find us. Let's do some trivia.
We got a
Without
quick
Q.
question in the chat.
We do have a quick question in the chat. You guys know who I should keep as a keeper: Achane in the 9th or Puka in the 8th. Oof.
Puka!
As much as I love Achane, you got to take Puka in the 8th there. I think
And wide
Achane's really
receivers
good.
longevity,
Yeah,
way over the running backs.
yeah. Puka, 100%. As Cup continues to get older, give me Puka there. Another question in the chat: should I trade Trevor Lawrence for Jaden Daniels? I would.
Yeah. Fuck it.
I don't even know what kind of league it is, but I'm probably doing that. Give me the Jaden Daniels
been
upside.
in the league for what, 4 years, 3 years now. Hasn't really
3 or
done
4.
much. Jaden Daniels, why not take a chance on the young guy?
2 QB league. Yeah, I would do that.
Yeah.
Yep.